Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Wiz podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is Gordon Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to a former pro wrestler, pro wrestling valet, author, mother, podcaster, writer. Holy shit, man. What don't you do? But she is Foxy Foxxy. Foxy, what's going on?
Nothing much. And to answer what don't I do, the answer is sleep.
Hey, you know what? Maybe it's I like was harkening back to Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette gets brought up, but no, when the Thrill Seekers, Lance Storm and Chris Jericho were in Smoky Mountain, they did the whole kind of like music video and whatever, and it's "I'm sleep when I'm dead." That was the backing track to that. So I guess, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I gotta ask, right? Like,
Yes.
how do you get into pro wrestling?
Everybody has their story, you know.
Yeah.
Mine isn't as, I guess, grand. Mine was a little happy accident, I like to say, because back in 97-ish, 96, like, you know, dawn of the internet, so you couldn't just Google search wrestling schools in your area or anything. So it just happened, like, the Attitude Era was booming, and like the world couldn't get enough of wrestling. So indie wrestling was all over the place, and my dad got tickets to an indie wrestling show for East Coast Professional Wrestling, and in their flyer was a flyer for their school. I'm like, bingo! So, called the school. I signed up on my 17th birthday and started training from there for like a whole year.
Wow. Now, what does your dad make of this? Because at the time, you're like, what, senior in high school, junior, senior, about?
Yes, senior. He was all for it. I mean, my parents had an inkling that I wanted to be a manager and be a wrestler from like WrestleMania 7, because that was when I said, "Oh, I'm going to be a manager." It was a whole good night, sweetie. It was the whole Miss Elizabeth, Randy Savage WrestleMania moment that made me turn and go, "I want to do that." Like, I was so invested in that story, and I loved Miss Elizabeth. So they had an inkling, but I don't think they ever took it seriously, because, you know, a kid's hopes and dreams changed so much over the years. But it was still there. It grew stronger when I discovered ECW, again through my dad. He's like, "You got to see this show. It's like full of blood and stuff." Like, nice. So when I decided, hey, I'm going to call the school and see what we can do, they kind of expected it, especially because I wasn't exactly Little Miss, I want to go to college. So they were like, "Yeah, sure. It's fine." So, whatever.
Well, you know what? There's many things that I love about that. Your parents' support, all of the jazz, but also the fact that you're talking like Miss Elizabeth, man. Like, swear, like, nothing against like this current incarnation of women, you know, whether it be Joshi wrestling, women's revolution, whatever you want to call it. I love everything. I love wrestling. So whether it's like, fuck the gravy bowl matches, that's not gonna happen. If you want to step inside the ring, you step inside a ring. It doesn't matter who you are, what you identify with. You show up to fucking wrestle, right? But Miss Elizabeth, the sensational Sherrys and Luna Vachons and the litany of others, you know, Ethel Johnson just went into the legacy wing of the Hall of Fame, you know, this past week or a week from today or before today. I don't know. There's still mania shit going on. I just can't.
I know.
9 days. Yeah, it's weird. But
little burns out.
Yeah, 10 points. Yeah, same here. Now, here's the thing. You grew up around like the East Coast wrestling scene, and especially the East Coast indie scene. That is something that I've kind of like, I guess, immortalized in my own brain, because like the first time I got like fucking internet connection that was worth a shit. Oh, Jersey All Pro bitches, fucking Homicide, like that shit. Like I wanted to be in the ECW arena, and it's funny how crazy the ECW arena is that you can have MMA. Here's the crazy thing: MMA for the last 2 weeks in CFFC, who's commentated by CM Punk, has taken place at the ECW arena, and a motherfucker lost his finger.
It's the legacy. The legacy
it's
continues.
The legacy. I was just like, what a fucking time to be alive. I mean, COVID sucks, right? But Bitcoin is like, well, I'm not Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is like $60,000. Dogecoin is like 12 cents. And a motherfucker in an MMA cage when wrestling is supposed to be fake at the ECW arena loses his finger, and CM Punk is the one commentating. Fuck yeah,
That's
man.
full circle. That is full circle right there.
Actually, the CFFC cage is a circle. So, bam.
Nice.
So
no, but you're not wrong. Like in the 90s, especially like the late 90s and 2000s, like East Coast Indies was the shit. It was like the place to be with JP, and like I said, you had the ECW arena there. You had the Queen's Elks Lodge for arena right over in New York, and like so many different. There was always a show around here, like from Friday to Sunday, every weekend there was a show to go to and be on. It was a good insane.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, good insane. That's exactly it. It's just like fantastic, wonderful chaos. I love the way that you put it. Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many that, like the fucking, I remember, what was the Jim Kettner, what is it? Wasn't the
ECWA.
Yeah, ECWA. But yeah, that was like when I would fucking open up the PWI and whatever and figure out like, Jesus Christ, I still have a subscription digitally. Like,
nice.
Because of this podcast, I can fucking write that shit off, which is adulting as fuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that was just like that was a great time, like that late 90s, early 2000s. It was just like a fucking fantastic time, and you grew up in it, and then you were raised by it when you ended up going to wrestling school.
Yeah, I was. To say the very least. No, like that's not even a joke. I was pretty much raised in wrestling from 17 till how old was I when I left? I don't know, 25? No, 7 maybe, I think. I don't even remember. But yeah, because kids at that age, they're figuring out who they are, and we're going to go to college, and what are you going to major in your future. Meanwhile, I'm in wrestling, and I'm the only girl at training, a bunch of guys beating me up and traveling to all these shows and illegally going to the bars afterwards to drink with the guys and building the rings and becoming a character. It's like, it was a whole separate world to figure out while you're just growing up, So it was, yeah.
Well, do you have any? I mean, I guess the statutes of limitations are off. Actually, they might not be. That could have happened last year because you could be 25, 26 now. So whatever. But the fact of the matter, did you have like a fun memory time in pro wrestling while you were in it?
Oh my God, so many. One of the all-time favorites. I have several. One of my all-time favorite ones was in about 2003, 2004-ish. Myself, my husband, and a couple of friends, we just finished up helping out at a Ricky Steamboat seminar in Jersey. And afterwards, we had a show to run to just to take promotional photos, but Steamboat, Candido, Danny Doring, and like the guy that was running it all were like, hey, we're all going to go out drinking afterwards at the hotel. Come join us. We're like, sure. Okay. And, being in wrestling, you got to, not be a mark and not be starstruck. Yeah. But, we sped through going to the show and doing the promotional photos just to go back to the bar. And we're going to hang out with like Danny Doring, Chris Candido, and Ricky fucking Steamboat. So we get there, we're playing it cool, and it was a great night, just drinking, hanging around, dancing. And then over the loudspeakers of the bar comes Usher and Little John's "Yeah." So, we're drinking, we're having a good time, and we all had that moment that's in like every quintessential teen movie where everyone looks at each other and like holds their beer up and kind of does that air nod to each other. So we're all doing that, like, oh my god, this is happening. And like in the corner, Steamboat doing the same thing to us, pointing and dancing. We're like, this is happening. So, and we've dubbed the night the Steamboat Shuffle, tips because the memory of seeing Steamboat dance to Usher and Little John's "Yeah" is something that never can escape our memory.
What the fuck? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that literally shut the fucking lights out in my building. Apparently, no. What the fuck does Ricky Steamboat dance like? What's the Steamboat Shuffle?
It's kind of like, I wish I can get back a little further to show. It's arms up like this, kind of going like that, and then a point, and going back. It's
See, I like it. What when you said that, I just imagine like him just chopping the fuck out of everyone.
Oh, he did that at the bar.
Oh,
yeah, he chopped our friend Doug, who was trained to be a referee at the time, just right in the middle of the bar. He just looked over at my husband and was like, "Watch this," and just chopped them right at the bar.
Whoa, wait.
Yeah.
So fucking hell. He calls out to your husband and it's like, he picks his shot. That's like the fucking 8-ball in the corner pocket.
Yeah.
Like, watch this shit. Bah! Just to pop your husband. That's fucking great. Amazing. That's fucking amazing. I mean, does it get any better than here?
I don't think so.
Yeah, holy shit. And God, dude, and again, I love that you're bringing up all of these names because I think in the pantheon of history, they fucking Danny Dorgan. Like, how over was he in fucking ECW? He was over. Oh, so over. Man, it's crazy, right? Like in posts like ECW and WCW, like when you go back to shit on the network, or even more so on YouTube, and you fucking remember what an actual proper pop sounds like. Like this fucking ECW fucking like it's pandemonium. Even WCW during its dying days, people were fucking lit. It was crazy. Now,
and
like
similar pops were on the indies because, of course, when ECW folded, they were such a staple to the indie scene, especially the East Coast indie scene, because that's where it all started. That like you would similarly hear it all over the place.
No, that's amazing. Fuck. I mean, do you have a Candido story, or was that just the one night deal?
No, I mean, Candido and we crossed paths a lot with him and Tammy, so we were on a lot of shows together, but nothing that ever like stood out. Cause he was a relatively chill guy, really nice guy as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, like even right up until the day he passed away. Fucking hell, man. Like, if you want like a, of course he wasn't as big as some of the other guys, but fuck, that dude could work his ass off.
Oh, yeah.
And he fucking, the promos that he cut, I mean, literally the fucking last promo that he did, he can fucking make you pissed off. Like how most people, and it's rightfully so, that they revere Eddie Guerrero, but like, before Eddie Guerrero found his way, Candido was doing the fucking same thing.
Absolutely.
Just saying. So, was your husband also in this?
Yes, he was.
Really?
Yeah, he started before me in New York, and we had crossed paths several times, but it never like registered who each other were. Like I had seen him once at a New York show that I was doing ring crew for, but he never saw me. And then he had came to a show in Jersey that I was on, that I was so like focused on the show, I didn't realize he was there. And then we talked again at another show that we were mutually on, but again, it never registered until we met up again somewhere around 2000, 2001. And it was like, oh my God, holy shit. And well, 3 dates later, we got engaged.
Right on. I love it. And it's been a couple years, right?
Years. We've been married, honey. How long have we been married?
We got together officially in
I can't remember.
2003.
No, that's not true.
I'm sorry, 2.
2. So that's 2002. So almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. See, everybody that says like fucking wrestling relationship don't work, you and your husband are like fucking rocking out. You got little wrestle babies and shit. That's amazing. That's fucking dope.
And he kept going. He kept wrestling after I stopped. So he got to do like so much more. Like he did a couple spots and shows in Ring of Honor. He actually won the ECW Super 8 one year. We were just talking about that. That was his retirement match in 2013.
Oh no!
Actually,
I mean,
the anniversary of my retirement.
Yeah, actually today's the anniversary of that retirement. Yesterday.
Yesterday was the anniversary of my retirement in 2013 after winning the Super 8.
Yes.
Oh fuck! Okay.
Small world.
I mean, yes. I mean, are we kayfabing this or
No.
this is the hubby?
This is the hubby. Damian Dragon is the
Holy
hubby.
shit! Nice.
Yeah.
That's so fucking nice. Hey, Damien.
You just got a holy shit, Damien. There, see? There he is.
Yo, shit, you're you.
He's like, you're you.
Hell yes. Damn, right on. Oh, this.
This in your time, you know that.
No, this is great, and it's funny because like I didn't think that we could pop the fucking Steamboat shuffle. You fucking did it. You're married to a Super 8 winner who won it in his retirement. That's some Vern Gagne shit right there.
It is, right?
Like going up on top. Like what the? Right on. Right on. So yeah. So so he continued after you. So
Yes.
I mean, you loved it so much, but like, why'd you leave?
Two reasons technically. Well, first, I got pregnant with our second son.
That's a good reason.
Yes, because I continued after we had our first son. It was a lot easier because it's just one kid. So I was gonna step away after we had him, but it was one of those uncertain things. I wasn't sure. Oh, do I want to come back? Do I not? Let's leave it open ended. But the company that I was working for last wasn't too keen on the fact that I got pregnant and I ruined a storyline. So my final spot was basically trying to figure out how to word it. It didn't leave it open-ended where I can come back. It didn't leave where I got a good, oh, she's pregnant, we'll see you later, send off. I basically ended up leaving the whole show and the whole match a heel.
Wow.
And it wasn't how I wanted it all to go down. So after that, I was just like, fuck this nonsense. Yeah. Like it was very similar to the whole Lita thing where she almost got like slut shamed out of the building and her retirement match was so quiet and it ended up with like, fake lingerie coming out of her gear bag. And it was just very disingenuous. Like that's what it essentially was to me. Like they knew I wanted to possibly return. This could have been my last time out. And it went in a totally different direction. So I was like, fuck it. I'm done. Not coming back. Even though I wanted to a lot, I didn't. I was like, no, can't do that anymore.
How fucking passive aggressive is that shit? Like, oh, it's cool for you to be pregnant, but you're gonna go out and we're gonna slut shame you on the way out. Why the fuck?
Yeah, there was a lot of that shit back then too, though. Like, message boards. What message boards then is like the wrestling Twitter now. Mm-hmm. Like, except there was a lot more anonymity back then. It was so. Whoo.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's weird because like, now with the WWE on the Peacock Network, the WWE Network on the Peacock Network, everybody's like, fuck, you're censoring all the shit and whatever. And yeah, I get it. But then also some of that shit, like maybe it doesn't stand up. You couldn't fucking do.
Mm-hmm. No, I know. We were talking about this 2 weeks ago with a friend of ours, where some of it we get it. It's cool. Then it just becomes a matter of how far are they going to go? Because we got tons of ECW things, and the WWE not being too keen on, say, for example, like intergender wrestling, and intergender was huge when it came to like ECW, which they have the whole library of, and it's a matter of how far are they going to go. And that's where it's like,
fuck. I mean, the way that they're going with it. I mean, if there's shit like, Boss Man's shirt, like, the Boss Man shirt has its stars and bars on it. You know, it's like that. You know, I don't think that makes it back.
I know.
Yes. So I don't know.
It's hard to say like how far they're going to go with it. Again, to an extent, I agree with what they're doing. To the other extent, it's like it's an unfortunate part of the history. How about you watch it and you learn from it, not to do it again, type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like eliminating it completely. It's like becomes almost black market where it's like, can you imagine how many of those clips are going to end up on the internet, on YouTube and Vimeo with no context whatsoever? So no one's going to understand why it was done. Was there redemption for it? Like, it's just going to be out there with no context, taken totally different ways. Like, you know, it's that whole thing, like, you know, the old Skinamax, you know, you can't watch Skinamax, but they're going to find a way to watch it. So,
Oh, that's it. That's the secret TV that you hook up. Never mind. I mean, I was precocious 15-year-old boy once. Damn it, you know. I had the mini fucking TV, the one that they thought I threw out and whatever, and I plugged it with the coaxial cable, and there we go. 10 points.
Sneaky.
Just saying.
Very sneaky.
I'm just saying. Oh, dude, like when I, not proud of it, but there was a time I found my dad's weed and porn stash, and I sold it to all the Pokemon traders because I wanted a Game Gear.
You know what? That's really not frugal. That's an investment.
Yes.
In early problem solving. So you're fine.
Yeah, dude. And you know what game? The only game that I wanted for Game Gear was Beavis and Butthead. So.
I had that for, I think, the Sega Genesis.
Oh, see? That's why we're friends. That's why we're friends. Good Lord. Now, obviously, you know, it's cool that you're almost like, you and Damien are almost like Tommy Dreamer and Beulah, where you're the Beulah, he's the Dreamer, he continued on, you kind of were like, I'm good, what have you. But you got to leave on your own terms, right? You got to leave on your own terms, where a lot of people don't get to. I mean, pre-COVID, I mean, there's fucking Virgil. Virgil somewhere in some subway station is selling 8x10s and shit like that.
Yeah, that's true. Sad but true.
Do you want to hear a Virgil story?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is even before I knew indie wrestling exists. I thought everything was the WWF, right? You know, even either WWF, WCW, and especially it said indie shows had like the Junkyard Dog and Iron Sheik and Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Virgil, right?
Yes.
So it's in Vegas. We lived in Vegas at the time, and it was like way the fuck off of the strip. It's Silver Nugget Casino. I don't even know where it's still there. And if it's still there, what the fuck? That place was accessible in the 90s. What the fuck are we doing? But yeah, well. So the arena was actually downstairs, right? From the casino was upstairs, and in the fucking, like, the ass end would be like a long corridor that got to the arena, right? So I'm waiting in line with my mom and dad and my little sister. And me, I'm a fucking huge, like, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, all, like the Hart Foundation, all of them, right? And one of the reasons why I wanted to go, almost the sole reason, was fucking Jim the Anvil Neidhart. I was like, maybe Bret is like behind the curtain and shit like that. I didn't know shit from Apple Butter. I was like 8, right? So I get knocked to my ass. We're waiting in line. And it occurs to me, I'm next to a fucking cigarette. You remember those vending machines where you can fucking pull? Yes. So I'm sitting next to it. I get knocked to my ass, and I look up with straps down in full anvil gears. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. His belly knocked me to my ass as he's trying to get his Newport cigarettes.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, And he still fucking charged me $20 to get a fucking picture with him and whatever. But kiss fizz, kid, kiss fizz, right? So we get down, right? And it's like an hour before showtime, so everybody's selling their gimmicks and whatever. And we get to Virgil, and I was just like, to me, I mean, Virgil and Junkyard Dog were like the first people like me that weren't, I don't know, gangsters and shit. So I was like, fuck yeah, man. So Junkyard Dog, rest in peace. That dude could not have been cooler. Like, could not have been cooler. We get to Virgil, right? My mom is from Fiji, right? Kind of like exotic-esque and what have you. Doesn't even acknowledge me nor my dad, right? I'm fucking sign my picture or whatever. Virgil's like, hey, would you like to be a valet? To my mom.
Oh my God.
He hits on my mom in front of me and my dad. The little fucking Sharpie fell out of my pudgy little fingers. I hate Virgil still to this day. I want to believe, in my mind's eye, him selling 8x10s at Grand Central Station in New York is his fucking, like, his comeback for fucking getting on my mom in 95.
Wow. Like, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised at the same time. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a memory. It is a hell of a memory.
It's burned into the fucking innermost parts of my soul, damn it.
Wow.
Yeah, like my wife and I, like, will whatever, and I'm like, it's fucking Virgil. That's why. Fucking Virgil. She's like, who? She doesn't watch wrestling. She's like, who? Yeah. So, just saying.
Yikes.
That's a lot to do.
Like I said, I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised.
Have you heard of, I mean, have you been in the auspices of Virgil?
No, not in the sense of being on shows with him, but you always see him at the cons, the wrestling conventions, or even like over here we have a like Chiller Theater in Monster Mania, and sometimes they'll bring in wrestling guys, and he's usually the first one on the list. It's like people are lining up to see you.
Yeah. Again, you get on my mom in 95, you get your fucking due. Bye, bitch. That's what I'm saying. And yeah, there might be. I'm not salty at all. Not at all.
And you know what the sad, funny part about that is that 95 and up until like maybe 2000 ish. That's an unfortunate way that a lot of untrained women became valets.
Oh,
yeah. Like a lot of people these days, they have that question of why do so many people hate the Divas Search and all of that, and it's like the honest reason, because the batch of females that were on the indie scene in the late 90s and whole Attitude Era that were trained and trying to get on shows either to wrestle or even just manage would literally get bumped off of the show for either a wrestler's good-looking girlfriends who had no training experience or just literally a hot girl that came to the show. And it was like, all right. And so come the Divas Search, it was very similar to that. So there's like a lot of resentment where it was like, hell, we're paying money to train to be a part of this business, and you're just gonna pick good-looking girls. That's it. Like, we could have saved our money. Like, that was an unfortunate trend in the late 90s wrestling. I have one match on tape that I managed where I'm working alongside a girl that they literally pulled out of the audience line that evening to be on the show next to me as I managed. I'm like, oh my God, this is great.
Okay, that's not unlike like a show at a native casino, right? Like an MMA show at a native casino, and like you want to, some guy fell out, some gal fell out. You want your tickets comped and beer, step into the cage. That happened.
Shit.
Yeah. Still to
oh my
this,
God.
I mean, pre-COVID, but yeah, that was like when you're on like the native shows, when you see somebody on there, you know, somebody's trying to like, their record might be lopsided and whatever. You might need a win and whatever. So it's almost like the fucking Pat Patterson in Rio de Janeiro coming back and whatever with the IC belt. You know, he went in as fucking North American champ, came out of Rio in this mysterious fucking tournament as the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, that's fucking MMA. And a lot of people are like, oh, don't mix my MMA with pro wrestling and vice versa. Fucking almost every wrestler that I've talked to love MMA. Almost every mixed martial arts fighter got into mixed martial arts because they wanted to be fucking wrestlers. Just saying.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a weird one because like just the network rights, right, for the WWE Network sold for $1 billion. Just the fucking viewing, just the footage, right?
Yeah.
The entire organization of UFC, that is the tape archives, everything that they acquired and everything, sold for just $3 billion more. Now that's a shitload of money, even still. But again, just to me, that just says like wrestling is stronger. That the entire organization and Dana White and the UFC did the same thing. Like they acquired other tape libraries and other promotions of bygone eras and whatever, some of their competitions and shit like that. And then they put it on their UFC Fight Pass. Well, all of that went with the fucking UFC, including the current shit for $4 billion. But just like the old shit and a couple of things that aren't on what Raw and SmackDown currently for $1 billion. Just saying.
Damn.
Yeah. And something to think about.
It is.
Now, yeah. That one of the there's so many cool things about you, but the fact that again you left kind of like when the time was right? Yeah. The things were changing and everything, but you've managed to, and this is one thing that I stress to all pro wrestlers and fighters and what have you, is to figure out a way to capitalize on the name that you've built, the hard work and hours that you've done, and make it work for you. And when I mean work, I mean actually lucrative, right? So sponsor, be on podcasts, have a social media presence, whatever the fuck, sell books, sell whatever, sell gimmicks. God, don't just pick a fucking fight shirt just because it's neon green and that's the cheapest thing by the dozen that you can get with like just think of any mid 2000s fucking, what is it, Affliction shirt and whatever with like don't do that. Actually give some thought. Like put some thought into it. But that is just something that you've been able to do, is like to kind of switch gears and become this author, this podcaster and what have you. So how did it all come about?
You know, it was there was a strange period of time when I left wrestling where I didn't want to be associated with the name. I didn't want to be associated with wrestling. And it was so difficult because it was what I'd known for almost 10, 13 years of my life.
Right.
So what changed it was my love of comic books, believe it or not. I had started working at a comic book shop, and from there, I'm like, well, I've always wanted to write. Like wrestling, writing, and music were like my three biggest passions. So I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? So then I started writing articles for two I guess you could say nerd websites. Like I started writing articles for a site called A Place to Hang Your Cape, and then I started doing comic book reviews for another one called Following the Nerd. And then an old wrestling friend had approached my husband and I about, hey, you guys are funny together. We're like, yeah, we are. We're dorks. What's up? It's like, I want to do a podcast, but you guys as the hosts, and you guys just talk about all the stuff you like, the games, the movies, like all the dorky shit you like. We're like, okay, fine, we'll give it a go. So we had started on Blog Talk Radio, of all places. We had started a show called Nerd Herders, and it ended up becoming like our own little community of friends and strangers from the internet that we're now super cool friends with. It was like this thing, because this was before, Twitch, way before Twitch started, and before YouTube Live and Facebook Live and all of that. So we had our own little nerd herders community, so to speak. And I was very big also about how if I'm going to do anything entertainment wise, I don't want no one knowing my real name. So like, okay, well, here comes Foxy Foxxy. She's coming back then, just in a different form. And from there, it like snowballed, where I started doing cosplay modeling, because I would cosplay at the cons before it was like,
Yeah.
Like, I hate sounding like a hipster when I say those things. Oh, I did this beforehand, but it's like, I'm old, all right? Like, I did this shit long before these kids did. So, from there, again, everything just snowballed, where we had the cosplay modeling, and my husband started doing some acting with fan films. I don't know if the channel still exists, but he played Deadpool well before there was a Deadpool movie.
Whoa.
Yeah. Then I took the writing chops and co-wrote a horror film with my friend Ron at the time, which Damien was in. We did pre-production, started filming it, everything, but then the director. So that's like on a USB drive somewhere in Pennsylvania right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, this is a whole big, it's just all, we took a break from Nerd Herders for a while, brought it back, stepped back again, because life, now we have 3 kids, but we always still wanted to entertain people at the end of the day. Like, that was like, wrestling aside, like, ended up being the core thing. Where it was like, okay, I just want to entertain people. Like, I don't want to wrestle per se, but I want to do something. So from there, it came where we brought Nerd Herders back with 2 of our other close friends now, and we do that on Twitch. I do a once a month show with 2 of my girlfriends from wrestling, Noelle and Amber, where we talk about like supernatural conspiracy theories. And myself and one of my other good friends, we do an all music podcast. Like, I just started branching out, where it's like, I have these interests, let's just go, in a very manic type of way. I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Maybe it'll stick with somebody, because this is all crazy shit that's in my head. And again, try as I might to stay away from wrestling, I'd always wanted to write and publish a book, and I tried to stay away from wrestling, but I'd always try to incorporate it in fiction or whatever. And I'm like, all right, it's time to go there. So that's when I'm like, well, here we go. And I started writing the wrestling memoir pre-COVID, and then stopped because virtual learning.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was ever going to pick it back up, but I managed to pick it back up in September, even though my kids are still doing virtual. And here we are, where now I'm revising the first draft. It's like, what the fuck? It's it's a whole big thing.
I think it's tremendous, right? Because I mean, I kind of grapple, or I kind of wrestle, and I use that pun, but no, because I went to radio school, right? I went to radio school, and in the early 2000s, and like, I left it just because, like, you basically had to, pay 30 grand at a trade school, go to the school, hopefully you get hired on to be an intern for 5 to 15 years in some reconverted barn in like Tupelo, Mississippi, and you just fucking stuck it out, and hopefully somebody of a bigger station of LA and Texas or wherever the fuck would you be driving down and whatever, and scare you at 3 a.m. and say, hey, come down, right? Like, that's it. So for as an author, right, as a creative type, it's got to be so fulfilling to have all of these things and not have to wait for a Simon and Schuster, or a fucking like, what is it? The fucking FCC, the fucking Federal Commission. Yeah. Like, I could say, fuck, that's cool.
Yeah. There's an endless supply for creators to just put out what they want to put out and entertain, whether it's 2 people or 200 people. And as long as you're loving it, it's like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it fulfilling as kind of a manic person? And you're talking to a dude who, like, July 1st is like the first podcast that I did. We're close to 400 episodes.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Hey, there was a point where people were like, no. And then all of a sudden people started saying yes. And I was like, fuck, okay. Now, mind you, I mean, it was kind of cool that, you know, I had basically kind of made my living, you know, covering shows in California, MMA and pro wrestling shows. And I built up friendships and had interviewed a couple people already. Like now we're fucking doing it in an hour and you don't have to worry about whatever, because you can do this shit at your house. Like,
exactly.
That's cool. But does that feed some of your manic, like, tendencies that you're doing all of this shit, or is there still more?
It feeds it to an extent. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm at a place right now where I still feel like something's missing and I can't figure it out. It is driving me crazy. I mean, it might be, you know, it might be pandemic related, who knows, because I am in my house like 6 days out of the week since my kids have, you know, the virtual learning. So I make it a point to stay here because I still take school calls, I talk to counselors, and, you know, I'm a wife, so I cook and I do clean up after them and my 4 cats, like, you know, so it could be that. But what I do otherwise, I definitely enjoy it, and it definitely fulfills everything. Like, you know, the show I'm doing tomorrow night with my 2 girlfriends, you know, we always would talk online and whatever, but we haven't physically been in the same room since 2002. So
Wow.
so to be able to, you know, hop up on StreamYard and just bullshit about like UFOs for other people to listen that are like secret UFO lovers has been so fulfilling. And, you know, there are times where it's like you feel bogged down by having to create again. You're like, is there anything left in me? But somehow there always is. Like, you'll push something out that you're just like, oh, I don't want to do it, but you force yourself to do it. And then afterwards you're like, I'm really glad I did that. So, you know, it is fulfilling. There's still something missing. Again, I can't figure out what it is, but I will.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because my wife kind of goes through the same deal where, like, she's just like, have kids. They're all like, the youngest is like 13 and whatever. I'm like, what now? I was like, fucking try everything. Try everything. You know, I don't think shit. My parents passed away before I even did jujitsu or even started any type of interview, whatever, because I was so kind of bogged down of how they thought. My mom in Fiji, her dad, my grandfather, was the first Fijian born broadcaster in the entire country. Wow. And then him and my uncle, his son, started the Fiji Post, the first and only at the time non-governmental newspaper in Fiji, right? So I still kind of hear my mom like, AJ, you can't do what'd you? And so I still hear it. She's been gone for like damn near 8 years, so I understand how it is, you know. So I'm like, fucking try everything. You just never know. It took me until my 30s that I start jiu-jitsu. I think 34, which again, like, if you're trying to get to like the WWE or whatever and have no name, UFC and have no name, and be 34 and start, the fuck. Just saying.
Yeah, but hey, you got, you know, I tell that to my same thing you said. I say to my husband all the time, because he finally decided to make being a karate instructor his full-time business. He's been wanting to do this for years, and he started pre-COVID, and it was going great. And of course, with COVID happening, there was a lull. But, you know, I used myself as an example for him. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be 40 in October, and I'm looking to publish my first book. There's like no timeline. Just fucking do it. Like, we'll make do somehow. I always have a backup plan. I have plans B to C always in a backup in my head for everything that happens. It's like, just fucking do it. And he is. It's sometimes you just gotta start. It doesn't matter what age you are, you know, and the worst you're going to hear is no. Then, okay, try something new. And if you fail, well, you know what not to do next time.
Yeah. But here's the, especially with like the content creation, right? During this time of COVID and still places are opening up a bit, right? But the way that I saw this opportunity with StreamYard and other streaming services, you and I both use it. And that's actually, I did fuck all the first half of the pandemic. I was like, are we fucking gonna die? Is that holy shit? I'm not gonna be sober for this. So me, my wife, and my sister were just fucking pounding them away every night. Yeah, and then one of my friends, they're like, hey, would you want to be a guest on our podcast and whatever? We use StreamYard. Hey, Woods, why the fuck aren't you doing it? And July 1st, whatever, we're like literally 400 episodes in.
That's awesome. That is like, it's really awesome.
But it's the first time in history that you and I and anybody else with a fucking decent internet connection and even your phone can be on par with all of the major news networks, all the sports network and all that shit. And there's people to watch new shit. Like, if that's it. And like you said, like, you're building a community, and that's it. Where a lot of people are feeling so alone, right? Loss of business, loss of job, loss of relationship, loss of life, loss. We all want to feel like we belong to something. Right? That's why the comments are open. That's why whatever the fuck, like, who'd have thought? I was going 2 hours each way 2 hours going because LA traffic and 45 minutes coming back to do a podcast in a studio and everything. And I'd love them, but I don't know if I'm ever going to fucking go to a live show again. Like, literally and figuratively. It's just easier to do it here. Look at the match card and go like, okay, what gym they're at. I'm going to fucking shoot them DMs.
It's great.
It is.
Well, plus, there's also the fact of it's not limited to just, again, where you live. Like, you're doing this here, and it's not limited to just a single radio station down in that area. Somebody in France could be translating and listening to it. You never know. And I just have such a love-hate relationship with the internet because of all this. Like, there's also all these advantages and all this greatness, but I'm a 90s kid. I grew up pre-internet, so I could live without it too.
Yeah, no, I think it's funny. So if you look at any one of the social medias, right, like that I occupy, right, what I do, it's something that I learned from Rogan. You fucking drop it and you drop it, right? So podcasts, memes, whatever the fuck, right? Drop it, leave it alone, and just go about your day. Like, and I'll fucking, I will hit you with like fucking dumb shit dad memes, not offensive, nothing offensive. I want everybody, whatever, but I will fucking drop 12 of them in a row, not give a fuck. Podcast, 8 to 10 fucking memes and face swaps. That's fuck, man. Like, I'm gonna as a 36-year-old fucking dude, I'm gonna fucking ass selfie. And again, if people think like, oh, it's just women, no, there's as many fucking muscle bound dudes that are fucking ass selfie Instagram. That shit is equal opportunity as fuck. So,
it is.
Just saying. And good for you if that is the life goal. If that was your fucking Shawn Michaels boyhood dream, girlhood dreams, transgender, whatever, fuck yeah, go for it. But absolutely. I'm just gonna use that shit for fucking memes and podcasts.
I get it. I had to get in the selfie game when I started doing the writing and really pushing that, because I don't ever get pictures taken of myself. I'm the one that takes all the pictures. I've stayed behind literally every camera since after wrestling. I'm the behind the scenes chick. I'm, the writer. I'll be on a podcast, but usually, back then it was all audio, not video. So when I started doing the writing and I'm like, oh, people are gonna have to see my face. Okay, let me update my 5-year-old profile picture. Here we go. And now I'm like, okay, I have to take a selfie. Like there are days where it's like, okay, let's see. They haven't seen my face like in a good week. I'll put on some makeup. My husband's like, what are you doing? I gotta take a selfie.
You know what? Not to embolden your I guess the sequestrement from everyone, but you can also fucking go on Fiverr, pay somebody $10 to do a caricature of you, and just go, there we go.
I know. I've contemplated it too. Like the fucking intro to the fucking thing I got on Fiverr, and like I was like, that's way cooler. I don't think I have a selfie alone. All my selfies are either with fighters and wrestlers pre-COVID. Like when people are like, "Oh, you want to be on the podcast?" I was like, "I don't have a picture, yo." Like, condone. Biff Busick, you want that? Josh Barnett, you want? No. Okay, all right. I get it. Like I said, that's why I started doing it. They're like, we need a picture. I'm like, oh God, here's one from like 2010. So it's the most recent one I have. Have fun.
I mean, but it's a skill, right? And it's weird because like obviously, people taking pictures, that's kind of always been a skill since like the turn of the century and what have you. But like the way that you can actually make a brand, right, out of your face or out of that owl selfie, it's fucking weird, but it's also cool, man. Like, the fact that you can talk to people in like the UK and just like, what the fuck are you doing? And especially during this time, like that was kind of my way of not only kind of reaching outside of my comfort zones, but also like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I'm hearing on the news, shit is wild. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, oh, here's what we're doing here. At least for my one fucking block that, I mean, like, I'm really sequestered. I live off of 2 main streets, but there's like a 4-block community and it's hidden, whatever. And I do not, and I'm literally, my carport is by the train tracks. Like I'm off the fucking beaten tracks and shit like that. I only see the fucking old ladies walking their dogs. That's the outside world. That's about as much as I know.
Wow. It's impressive. It's always loud over here.
Again, that's why I don't do late podcasts, because the fucking train will just like rumble all that shit. It's amazing. And I'm not talking about Ice Train. I'm not talking about that dumb shit Braun Strowman. No, like a legit train. Can you tell I don't like Braun Strowman?
A little bit.
No. A little bit. Who are your favorite wrestlers?
At the moment or in generally?
Whatever the fuck. Both, one, whatever you want to do.
At current standing, my favorite is Elias whenever he gets in the ring. Because he's just he reminds you of like every 80s like gimmick, and of course the music influence helps. I like Karrion Kross from NXT, Finn Balor. Let's see, WWE wise, hard to say. I already said Elias. See, even my husband knows. Oh, why can't I think of anybody recent? Probably because I don't know anybody recent.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the males are concerned, and of course, the greats, Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, trying to think, Shawn Michaels, anybody in ECW. That's just a given. That whole umbrella, everybody there, except for the Musketeer.
Oh.
Yeah. Except for
have a fucking Musketeer story? Or is there
not a good one?
God,
not
Jesus.
A good one at all.
I want it to be like they hit at almost the same time, but I was a short diminutive fuck. I'm slightly taller, but still whatever. The two kind of diminutive motherfuckers that would wreck all shit, Dean Malenko and Taz.
Yes.
Fuck, man. Like I'm not to say I'm not a fat fuck now, but I was fatter then, right? And I just, like the fact that Dean Malenko and Taz, like Taz almost had my body type, and Malenko, man of 1,000 holds. He was at the traditional cruiserweight and whatever, and like just by him doing that, and there would be this long. I was a Cadork. I was in ROTC, and there was this long trek from General Campus to the Inglewood High School ROTC room where I'd have to pass some basketball players, and that's where all the dudes got all the chicks and whatever. And it was like fucking high society. I have to walk there just like mealy mouth, but fucking Dean Malenko and Taz. I'd fucking either walk on any given day. I'd either walk in like fucking Taz or fucking do this and whatever. Nobody fucking whatever. Yeah, but that was it. That was why I walked down the aisle, and that gave me so much fucking confidence, So
no, I get it, because high school for me was similar. I had like a rotating group of friends depending on how they felt about me at the time, and and one group that I always stuck around with was like the small group of guys that just liked wrestling, and wrestling back before the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin thing was still quite taboo. So like to have that little group of friends, just walking down the hallway, and the tallest of the group would always have like the DX music playing on his like boombox. So it was like,
yes,
yeah. So it kind of gives you that oomph too, especially when you're the dorky goth chick that's in marching band color guard in high school. Hi. Yeah.
No, I feel at my high school, the marching band and color guard and all that shit, they got more play than anyone. Like there'd be two buses, and it would be like, on the away games, the football players and the band.
Yeah.
All come Monday morning. All the sword stories that were going around the halls of Inglewood High, that all came from the fucking marching band. So, just saying, shit is weird.
Well, I mean, marching band wasn't as disturbing as like American Pie made it out to be, but there was marching band was its own like drama club in itself. Like, oh, she's hooking up with him, but just the other day she was hooking up with him, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So the band at my high school, they kind of like were emboldened with all that fucking American Pie shit, and we're like, we could do what? There were pies, there were fucking tuba, there were mouthpieces placed in unmentionables. I mean, at least from what I heard, and I think only one story that hasn't been corroborated, like 20 years later.
I wouldn't be surprised, because I mean, band camp was a thing. I didn't go, but a band camp was a thing, and
just orifices. Just saying. Do you have like I guess music and wrestling?
Yes.
Do you have like top theme songs that you dug?
Absolutely. I still have them all. I have them all on my Spotify. They're in my little motivational playlists. Top best one ever. Number one all the time, no matter what. I don't care who comes out since or beforehand. Best one is The Brood from Gangrel.
Yes, that's good.
It's such a bop. Like, love it. In heavy rotation when it comes to the wrestling playlist, I have AJ Lee's theme song, Light It Up. Ashley Mazzaro's old theme song. Yeah. Let's see. I have Asuka's theme song on there.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Ember Moon's first entrance music, Free the Flame. Love that one so much. Oh, God, what's the guy one that I have? Not Elias's. His song sucked.
Because it's just the strumming of the chords and
exactly.
Then
exactly.
Johnny Gargano.
Yes, the Johnny Gargano one when he was a babyface. That's actually my phone ringtone. I love that song so much.
That's not bad. So one that doesn't get the love, and I got shit on in a Facebook group for saying it. But Nia Jax isn't bad.
No, it's not. It's really
It's not bad.
It could use some updating now that she's like more established. But
Yeah.
no, it is such a good one.
That one, Nakamura, fucking hell.
Yes, that's the other one I haven't. Oh my god, that Nakamura's song.
Yeah,
Love
I mean,
that
it
one
got
so much.
got over so much that they fucking had to chop it up, and that shit was almost like the fucking drummer from the 1975, the amount of chop stopping that they fucking had to put on that damn song. But shit, and I didn't think like his New Japan theme is fucking amazing. Like it's fucking amazing. I didn't think they could do any better. They fucking did better. Oh my god.
Yeah, that one. Everything stops when I play that one. And just a forewarning. This is to anybody else. Rhea Ripley song. Yes, it's great. Don't listen to it when you drive, because you will find yourself driving just a little bit faster.
Faster, right on.
Yeah, found that one out the hard way. I'm like listening to the song, thrashing along with it, and I look at the speedometer. I'm like, oh, okay, let's slow down just a little bit.
The lowdown. You said that, and I was like, fucking Boss Skaggs and D'Lo Brown.
Oh my god, yes. Had the head bop with it.
Yes. Oh fuck. That's why that's one of the many things I don't like about Roman Reigns. The motherfucker wears a shield, like not anymore, but he wears a fucking bulletproof vest and he sells punches to the fucking chest. What are you fucking doing, sir? What are you doing? Now I'm glad that we're not wild savages like him. I think him and his brother, right? Matt, they're the only two that aren't like savage fucking islanders, right? Like, or gangsters.
There's a little humanization.
Yeah, or gangsters. But then you come out as SWAT, whatever. You talk about shit theme songs. The Shield theme song, as well as all of the individual members of the Shield.
Yeah.
All of them suck ass. Those theme songs suck ass.
Yeah.
Like Ambrose is like when you eat one too many burritos and it fucking doesn't agree with you, and then fucking continues, right? Like I want to say Seth's is almost like if you take, from what I heard, when you drop acid and then you go into a bouncy house. And then Roman, again, you just carry all the worst fucking parts of the Shield and you just give it to Roman.
We were just talking about that during WrestleMania. Like my husband and I pointed out, it's like how Roman Reigns is his own person now and he's doing the heel thing and it's great, but you're still using the Shield's entrance music. It just took out the intro.
Yeah. Oh, and then the fucking, what is it? What is it called? The alternate reality or fucking whatever. But it just looks like he's in cum face. Like he's a big dog and just cum face. It's weird. That's PG though.
It's terribly accurate.
Oh no.
Like the Brazzer memes.
Yes.
That they put up.
Totally Brazzer memes. Oh fuck yeah, man. That's almost a whole. You take a 8-minute Roman Reigns match and you could break like 300 fucking Brazzer memes. That's it.
I'm gonna think about that next time we're watching a Roman Reigns match.
Oh, God love you because you watch a Roman Reigns match.
My kids, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
James Wheeler wants to know, what are your thoughts of seeing Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Raquel Gonzalez together on NXT yesterday?
Oh,
that was really cool.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Especially after like all week and since this happened, all you saw was that one picture of them back in the NXT days together. And of course, everyone's thinking, like, oh my God, and now they all have titles. So then for them to capitalize on that moment was amazing. And not only that, but just to finally see some new players in the fold of like the title picture was so refreshing. So refreshing.
Yeah, and not just that. I love the little nuances, right? That I'll go on What Culture the day after a pay-per-view or whatever, and like the hidden meanings behind the fucking attire and all that shit.
Yes.
So not only did they fucking do the thing all in the ring, but they stood in the exact same sequence that they
Mhm.
did in the old school NXT fucking picture. And I was like,
Yeah,
that popped me. I was like, fuck yeah, man. That's it.
that was really cool. Like I said, just to see, like, having Bianca win, like, I called it. I called that months even before the Rumble, because she just has it, like, character, work, etc. So once she had won the title, it was more so a matter of like, okay, well, come day two, that title already got swapped, so the other one's obviously staying on Asuka. So when Rhea won, we're like, what the fuck? Especially because just before her match, there were already 3 title changes prior to her. So we're like, this isn't going to happen. So it did. And we're like, well, fuck us. Awesome. Like, that was absolutely perfect. And then, of course, right from there, the picture started popping up and we're like, oh, this is so cool. And then they all got in the ring. It was like, wow. Just...
And I'm not the biggest Sasha fan. I've had a couple run-ins with her. Yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah. See, Foxy, that's why we're friends. That's why we're friends. Yeah. I mean, she has a awesome fucking, theme song for what it is, but like, I just not a good person. Just not a good fucking person, especially if you're a wrestling fan, right?
Yeah.
So
I know. I sometimes have to keep quiet when it comes to certain of those things, because we had wrestling Twitter and Instagram Twitter, they have the stands, which is a really terrible thing to call yourself, I feel, considering what it derived from. But like, they're so overzealous, which is great. It's great to be an overzealous fan, but if you disagree, woo,
that's it.
Yeah,
it's a weird. Well, that's why it's awesome, right? Like, we get to kind of converge, all different podcasters, all different people, just whatever, converge in spaces like this, because it's like we can openly fucking say it, and it's like disagree, agree, whatever the fuck, and still be cool for somewhere in society, right? Worldwide society. Like, the way to properly, like, respectfully disagree, I fucking got lost somewhere. I don't know. Maybe it was one tweet I missed. Maybe it was one Facebook post, whatever the fuck. But
no, you know where it gets lost? Like, because I have figured this out. This is why I try to stay as quiet as I can sometimes. You're reading it. You can't hear tonality. So you can't tell if someone's being sarcastic. You can't tell if someone's being sincere. So for me, if I were to go on Instagram and be like, yeah, I don't get Sasha Banks. I don't get it. Some people are going to read it and go, I don't get it. Or, they're not going to hear that. It's just like, no, I'm genuine. I don't, I'm sorry. You guys like her and that's great. I don't get it. I don't outright hate her. I don't wish ill on the woman. I don't get it. And that's why platforms like this, like doing the podcast or anything, it's so much better to say these things aloud, because then you could hear it and get more explanation as opposed to 140 fucking characters of a tweet. Like, yeah. Everyone just relies on reading and face value.
Yeah. That's why I first started, like, even when posting memes, I would say, like, put something clever caption, or I try not to fucking emoji, man. I'm fucking damn near 40. Like, I don't know. I'm like late to the party. I'm late to the gifts. I'm late to the fucking whatever. And I also believe, like, though isn't THO. Like, that's it. Or the phrase, oh God, it fucking grinds like every gear that I have a certain type of way. Have you heard such a thing?
Yes.
My mom taught me, if you fucking don't say what you mean, you're wasting your breath. And breath to a dying person is everything, right? So how the fuck a certain type of way? 5 fucking words. A is not a word, but 4, right? 4 words and a letter to describe absolutely nothing. Like, oh, this fucking whatever got me a certain type of way. You get flowers. Oh my God, I feel a certain type of way. What the fuck are you saying, really?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame that. I like the 140 characters one, but I also blame that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Um, since you're both a music and a wrestling head,
Yes.
we've talked a lot of wrestling.
Yes.
Let's go into music. What are some of your musical? I don't know. I was what is it? The fucking I almost wanted to quote Dusty Rhodes in Consigliere, but it doesn't work here. So, but what are your favorite like bands, music? What are you into?
Oh boy. With music, I and this is not me like copping out. I love every genre. I listen to any genre. I listen to any decade. You know, um, my dad played a lot of 50s music and then really got into the 80s stuff. So like he influenced a lot of the always listening to music type of thing in me, and I still do. Like I'll dissect music. I'll sit here and study lyrics. Like music is everything. Um, Most of my favorite bands usually stem from how they've resonated like in my life.
Mhm.
So despite the controversy surrounding the artist at the moment, I still will always say that my favorite is Marilyn Manson, because in 94 when he dropped his Sweet Dreams album, song, that was when I was like, what is this? Who is this? And then I bought black lipstick and I became the person that I was, and that same song was my husband's entrance music the day that we finally collided, and we're like, oh my god, you. So the song made me stick around for the rest of the show, which then evolved into asking me out on a date, and then we're married now, so obviously that worked out. So I'll always say Marilyn Manson's like my number one favorite artist, as well as Madonna. I'm a huge Madonna head. David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think, Depeche Mode, Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks. Love
Mm-hmm.
them. A recent favorite and recent COVID discovery, because again, me and my husband, we go down these music rabbit holes, is a band called Gunship. They're very they're synth, they're what's called industrial pop / synthwave, which is music they create now, but with a total 80s vibe. And any of their songs, like you could literally maybe just put an 80s flick on mute, any 80s movie montage, and put on a Gunship song, and it fits to like perfection. It's such a throwback band. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything I'm listening to at the moment.
Do you know the 1975?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little behind when it comes to newer stuff or anything, so it's new.
I was too. I slept on this fucking band. Like, they had one song that they were playing on the radio here in LA called Somebody Else, right? And I was like, I talk about synthy 80s. You're going to get that shit in fucking Somebody Else. And just like total emo core fucking, it's just talking about his girl. Maddie is talking about his girl getting with somebody else, and just like it's almost like fucking Mr. Brightside for a different tone, right? So then, and I was just like,
I just wrote it down to check out later.
Yeah, so I just like, I totally dismiss, and I do this, right? Like, if I see a lot of, and this is my own insecurity, if I say a lot of female engagement, right? Like, I didn't listen to Prince until he died, just because a lot of the girls that I liked, listen to me, love Prince, and we're like, you're not Prince. And I was like, I know. Like, my middle name, my Fijian middle name is Prince in Fijian, but I'm not that guy, And they would forever and a day have the picture of him crawling out of the bathtub, all sudsy. So that's what I was going up against, right? So I was like, fuck Prince. And then when he passed away at the Lucky Strike bowling alley / bar in Hollywood and Highland, they did they were doing this kind of like backstage live where like all of the fucking people that have worked with Avril Lavigne and Def Leppard and whatever. They would all just fucking converge and just play covers, right?
Mhm.
So, but they turn. So I can't remember what day Prince died, but then he died, and the following Wednesday they did a fucking Prince, whatever. And I heard the music live, right?
Mhm.
Now, obviously not Prince, but he
Yeah.
had like fucking Jeff Scott Soto from fucking Yngwie Malmsteen, and was one of the many after Steve Perry fucking lead singers of Journey, right? Yeah, you had fucking Matt Scannell from Vertical Horizon. Fucking, I love Vertical Horizon. God, I love it. But like a lot of people fucking doing Prince shit, and I was just like, oh, okay, I fucking get it. And even like when they did fucking Purple Rain for the fucking encore,
Mhm.
wouldn't you know who won the fucking pony? It rained outside for like 3 minutes and stopped.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the magic of Prince.
Oh god. So to hear that music live, oh god, like Little Red Corvette and the fucking little guitar interlude, oh, fucking hit so hard. Oh,
Yes.
so good.
God,
So
yes.
Oh, do you want to hear the addendum to the fucking story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm fucking Fijian and black, right? I'm hungry. 3-hour show, awesome, great. It was free show. Got a fuck ton of selfies, awesome, right? Then I'm hungry. So there's a local LA diner called Mel's Diner. It's kind of a throwback to the 50s and whatever. And if you've been on like Hollywood Boulevard, it's like right behind Ripley's Believe It or Not, right? So we just strolled over. We paid like an ungodly amount for fucking parking at Hollywood and Island. So we just strolled over to the fucking Mel's Diner. Had never been up until this point. My wife laughs at me because I'm a LA person. Never been to Mel's Diner, which is sacrilege. But then I've also never been to the Whiskey, Rainbow, all that, whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm a fucking dork. But we were over there and we get seated. As soon as we get seated, I see this gal. And she's got this fucking tie-dye, badass Guns N' Roses shirt. And I'm like, I've got like 300 shirts, an ungodly amount of shirts. But I was like, I need that shirt. I'm going to ask her, whatever. And then my eyes kind of float up. Oh, shit, it's Paris Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah, it's Paris Jackson, right? And I'm the one that marks out. My wife is just like, they're just people too. I'm like, no, you don't fucking understand. You don't know how many years I saw these little fucking kids with masks pre-COVID. You don't know, like, my American middle name is Jermaine because when my dad told my mom he was from Indiana, she goes, oh, that's where the Jackson's from. Her favorite Jackson was Jermaine. So that's it, right? So fucking big shit. So they're about to walk out, her boyfriend, and their little crew, whatever. And they go by my table. And I was like, hey, cool shirt. She goes, and there's Guns N' Roses tattooed on her fucking inner lip.
What?
Yeah, and I go, hey, I'm Adam. And she goes, I'm Paris. And I was like, I know. Right? Like, just like that. I'm like, I know. It's like, yeah, like, and she's telling me about the fucking shirt and whatever. We're fucking having this conversation like at 3 a.m. after a Prince tribute show. And I was like, hey, we just came from the fucking Prince tribute show thinking that she was going to have heat and whatever. She goes, my dad loved Prince.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, yes. And I was like, oh, I know. But also, my dad loved Prince. It's like, I know. My dad was a musician. Mine too. My dad's from Indiana. Mine too. And then we're like fucking like hugging it out in the middle of the fucking Mel's Diner. Everybody's like, what the fuck is going on and whatever. And then I was like, would you, oblige us in a fucking picture? She's like, yeah. She fucking hands the phone over to one of her minions and just like, couldn't have been fucking cooler. So that's a fucking, even though I haven't had many Hollywood nights and drunken stupors, whatever, saw Prince, turn my fucking opinion of him around to hear his music live, walk over to Mel's Diner, meet fucking the daughter of his kind of rival, and find out it's not his rival at all, and she's fucking cool as shit.
That's awesome. I would have froze. I freeze with musicians utterly and completely. My husband makes fun of me all the time because I could be around wrestlers. Like even before I was a wrestler, and I was fine. Me and musicians, no. Once in New York, we were just hanging out by the Sony building so he could see some of his old friends because he used to work there. And I'd forgotten that it was like the same day as one of the MTV Video Music Awards. So we're like right there. So we're standing out there having a cigarette, and this guy's coming down the block. And, you know, me being the big music person I am, I could recognize these people like crazy. So this guy's walking down the block, nowhere even near us, right? And he gets a little closer. I go to my husband. I'm like, that looks just like Kirk Hammett from Metallica. And he gets closer, and it is. And, you know, he nods and says hi. And I'm like,
wow.
He continues to walk past, and then I get the shove and the hit in the shoulder. Why didn't you say hi? I'm like, it happens a lot.
I know. I mean, I get it. There's so much greatness it captured. You gotta go this like fucking video reel of all the places and all the times that you've seen this person. Music videos, listen to the music, how you felt and everything. And they're fucking there. They're 10 seconds away from being like right here. And just that. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, it's fucking cool because I was a dweeb. Right, when my dad actually used to play, you know, I mean, he played at Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco in a street as a street musician and what have you. Played on a lot of like Dave Cause and fucking Yellow Jackets and Chaka Khan and Tony, like all of those like people of like the early 90s and whatever, right? And I remember going to this. It was the fucking state fair or the county fair. And this guy, big black dude, saxophone player. My dad Casey to see him. We're talking and whatever, and I'm just being a little shit. I want to like win a goldfish and throw the fucking ping pong ball. Well, all these years later, I fucking realize that was fucking the big man, the Clarence Clements. I love Bruce Springsteen, and I was right there with fucking. Just a fucking idiot, like my 5-year-old self, a fucking idiot. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then also Miles Davis, like literally 6 months before he passed away.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my dad was the Ghirardelli chocolates?
Yes.
Okay. So there's where they're made is the Ghirardelli Square. The factory is like a little mall in San Francisco and whatever. My dad was the first live band. Him and his saxophone player were the first live band to play there, right? So I don't know how he hears of it or whatever, but he fucking comes and sees my dad. And this is like perm and the fucking leather jumpsuit, that Miles Davis. Like that. With the fucking like Tron fucking glasses. And I mean shit, dude. Like I might have not known or whatever, but like I've been around a lot of fighters, pro wrestlers and everything. I have never met anybody with just the intensity of Miles Davis. He wasn't moving, but you felt like it was like 80,000 miles at like whatever. It was just like this beautiful brilliant fucking madness. And I was just like, even as a kid, I was like, this dude is different.
Some people just have that.
Just saying, man. Some people have it. You fucking have it. You've always had it with your professional wrestling career, all the fucking cool shit you're doing, the podcast, the fucking book. I can't wait to see all of this shit come to fruition. On some of it, I can watch like literally right now, but the book coming out, right? But obviously, Foxy, there have been a lot of people that have helped encourage and shape the person and the entity that you are. So take as long as you like. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Oh my God. Like, I don't even know where to begin.
Husband's a start. Kids are cool.
Yeah.
Maybe parents.
Yeah, of course, the husbands, the Damien Dragon, our 3 kids or monsters, and I refer to as womb gremlins.
That's nice.
Of course, my mom sat in at every training session that I had, and my dad, who signed the contract and only came to like one show, my heel turn, and it was so cool. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore, but I always say without my dad, I wouldn't have had wrestling, but without wrestling, I would have had my dad, because that was what we would watch like Saturdays all the time. Let's see, people that have shaped who I am. People that are mentioned in the book. One of my friends, Sean Sheridan, who I started training with and am stuck with for the rest of my life because he married my high school best friend. Thanks to me. My two girlfriends who I'll be on with tomorrow, Noelle Harlow Lagrasso, Big Vito's wife, and my friend Amber. Actually, Big Vito, that man is fucking nuts. I love that guy.
Yes,
a name that I don't get to say often, Simon Diamonds. He used to help out at one of the Jersey promotions, Jersey Championship Wrestling, when I was working there with my husband and Noelle, and he really helped shape a lot of the angles that we did, as well as like just character development. He is such a brilliant person. I guess just it's funny because like I could say like my favorite people that I worked with that helped shape me. Thing is I still call them by their old names, not what they're known as now.
Oh,
so
okay.
So like a New Jersey wrestler by the name of Rob Echoes.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that everyone now knows as Robbie E.
Yeah.
In NXT.
Robert Stone in NXT, actually.
Robert Stone, yes. Robbie E was his TNA name. Worked a feud that I had so much fun with this young kid at the time named Bandito Jr., who is also known as Eddie Arango, one of the WWF official referees at the time. Now, it's so crazy to say because I watched him grow up. Oh God. Yeah, Matt Bennett. That's right. Unfortunately, I mean, a lot of the other people have moved on from wrestling. Throw out a name of one of my greatest friends that I haven't spoken to in a while. Ken Scampy was huge part of my wrestling and just me as a person. That's all I could really think of at the moment.
No, I like it because the thing about it is once you get like the core people, anybody else, like you could do a mea culpa. Damn it, I was put on the spot. Blame the host. Fuck it, whatever. I'll do the job. No worries. But like, there's literally a fucking Netflix film filmed during the pandemic and released under the pandemic for a dude he didn't thank his significant other. So, so as long as you don't do that, like, I think you're good. I think you're fucking good. And it's not like he's sitting feet away from you. Right?
That's true.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Now, obviously, Foxy, like, for all of the amazing stuff that you're doing, where can people find it on the interwebs?
Okay. I put almost everything on Instagram, whether it be a short clip of what I used to do, a throwback photo, or the stuff that I'm currently doing with the podcasts and my writing. I always put that on Instagram, and then I'll throw it up on like TikTok. Not TikTok, sorry. I hate that place.
Snapchat.
Snapchat and like Twitter. But like Instagram is like, I guess, my main hub, you could say. So if anybody wants to see any of that, or even like motivational things, because I really try to push the whole, dude, I'm going to be 40 and I'm doing it so you can do it. Or, hey, guess what? I have depression and I'm working through it. Work through it with me and maybe I can help you type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can find me on at Viva Foxy Foxxy. That's VIVAFOXY FOXXY. That's my handle for Twitter, for YouTube, for Facebook, Snapchat. I try to bridge it across everywhere so it's easier to find me. And then for a bunch of unseen content, I do have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/Foxy Foxxy. That's my content platform to help me get to the journey of the editor, because editors cost money. Found a pretty decent one on Fiverr, so fingers crossed with getting her to say, hey, yeah, I'll check that out after I'm done revising the first draft. So yes, patreon.com/Foxy Foxxy. There's Foxy Reacts videos where I'm in that little box on the corner and I'm watching all my old shit and cringing so hard and making fun of myself. Oh, it's great. I've created private soundtracks that go along with every chapter of the book, because again, I'm so like music heavy. Just a bunch of, again, content that's not anywhere else. I don't know if I'll put it anywhere else yet. I'm thinking about it, but I haven't made that decision yet.
See? Yeah, no, man, I love that you're getting away as a creative type to flesh out all of your kind of zany inhibitions, because that's what you do. That's what you do. When you figure out something that you love, you fucking follow it with reckless abandon. And you mentioned about like inspirational quotes and all that jazz, and it's awesome. It's fucking awesome. But you also can't do inspirational quotes and shit and if you've never either done shit or been through shit, right? So you that have, are battling depression, that is a mom that battled the fucking wrestling industry, good lord, and its sexist fucking ways of the early 2000s. Good God, why? Yeah, so that's why I warmly encourage everyone to fucking go ahead and follow everything that you're doing, because everything that you're doing is absolutely fucking fantastic. Thank you again for doing this.
No problem. I had a lot of fun. This is awesome.
Yeah, mine too. Like, I'm gonna Mario Yamasaki. He's a referee in MMA. I love the hand gesture, but he's also the one that, like, if somebody's beat the fuck out and just like stiff as whatever, he's like, let them fight. So shout out to Mario Yamasaki. But since you guys, and thank you guys, because this thing wouldn't exist if not for you. And if you're in the subscribing and following mood, According to Woods on everything, and also the According to Woods podcast can be found on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, where you can go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I mean, Foxy, you're subscribed to the podcast, aren't you?
I am on YouTube, and I follow it also on Twitter and Instagram.
See, just saying. So be a badass, just like Foxy is, and go ahead and follow. But if you don't believe me or her, and I don't know why you wouldn't, here's another pro wrestler, Zeta Zhang.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang,